All right, so let's get started. And if more people want to join later, then of course they are more than welcome to join us. And hello again, and welcome to this webinar hosted by Valo Intranet. And my name is Knut, and I'm the partner manager and the product evangelist of Valo Intranet, both in Europe and in APAC. But I also traveled like a lot of times over to America, and I was supporting the partners there before. So today is the session all about how your intranet is the heart of your crisis management. And this is what I really do believe in myself, that the intranet really should be the heart of the crisis management, because this is like the place where we'll go and find all the information we need. This is where we can reach out to our colleagues. This is where we can find our colleagues. This is where we can find the policies and the procedures and all these things that we need to do and follow in time of a crisis. So let's go and dig into all of this. And this is me, as you can see, and I'm also on the screen. Feel free to join and connect with me on Twitter or LinkedIn if you want to do so. Maybe you are already an existing Valo customer and you just want to hear more about how Valo is tackling the crisis management. Maybe you are potential new customers. We are really happy and we are really here to support you in any way. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the chat and we will answer those afterwards at the end of the call. If you want to ship us an email or book a meeting with us, we will give you all those details afterwards, where you will be able to reach out with us for doing that as well. So the agenda today is to first of all, tell you a little bit about how you can implement an intranet within days. Because maybe you're not already a Valo customer, maybe you don't have an intranet at all. And if the intranet should be heart of your crisis management, we need firstly, of course, to have then the intranet before we can put the other things inside. We also should look into how we can keep your employees engaged and how we can improve the two-way communication coming in. And when it comes to the two-way communication, we will take a look at Microsoft Teams, and we'll also look a little bit about how Yammer can be used and how Yammer can actually integrate within your intranet. But the most important topics maybe today for some of us is how you can make the most out of your intranet as a crisis management solution, and how it can become the heart of your intranet with your crisis management solution. And we also have a really nice mobile app within our Valo product offering. So I will also showcase and demo that to you as well. And of course, in the end, I will showcase how our crisis management template has been built inside of SharePoint and inside of our Valo Intranet product. So yeah, that's it. It's a long agenda. We have 1 hour together. I'm happy to be here with you, and I hope you will stay around until the end. And again, please feel free to put the questions in the chat as well. First of all, of course, we need to tell a little bit about Valo and how much customers and all these things we have. So you will have an understanding, if you are potential customers, that you will join the Valo family and become one of our already many customers and many happy customers that is already using Valo Intranet as one of their as their intranet solution, and can then really easily just put on top the crisis management product on top of this. So we have a lot of customers, 650 customers already, more than 2 million users. Most importantly, that we have probably a local partner next to you, because Valo is all a partner-oriented business proportion. So it means that we do all of our deliveries through a local partner. But how can you get an intranet within just a few days? Is it even possible? If you look back a few years, if someone will ask me, would it be possible, Knut, to get an intranet within like a week, or maybe like within a few days, or maybe a couple of weeks? I will say, no, hell no, it's not possible. You can't do that. First of all, we need to have a lot of planning. We need to have a lot of like gathering of requirements and all these kind of things. It's not possible to do it within 1 week, but it is really possible if we flip everything over and we trust someone that has delivered hundreds and hundreds of intranets already. They should know what they are doing. So what for should I rethink the wheel? Why can't I just take the wheel that someone already built for me and start to use that? And this is exactly what we are offering within Valo Intranet. We're offering you the ready-to-go package when it comes to how the intranet should look and how it should feel, and this is based on all the previous packages that we have built before, and also all of our partners have their own expertise on this, so they're also putting their own kind of spices and flavor on top of it, making it even better for you. So yeah, so how can we do this? Of course, the first one is kind of a funny one, since you have to come and reach us. And you already did that since you joined this webinar today. So first of all, just let us know if you want to have the more deep dive demo of Valo Intranet. We can really provide that for you. Secondly, of course, we will set you up with one of the more than 250 Valo partners that we have already to make sure that you can get started right away. And we will find a partner that fits you, we will find a partner that you will like, and we will find a partner that will deliver this project for you. We will, of course, with the partners, we will set up something unique for you. So it means that you will get the look and feel of the intranet with your corporate colors, with your logo and all these kind of things. And when it comes to the fact that, yes, we say that you can get this within less than a week, we really mean that. But this is what we call an rapid and express delivery. So it means that everything is as is. You get a pre-designed front page, you get like all the navigation controls, and all this is more or less coming from us already pre-made, and from there you should start to add your own content and all these kind of things. So the step 4 is where you will go and build your own content, you will build your sites, you will build all of the pages, the news, and publish those, of course with help from our partners. But our system is so intuitive that you will be really able to build a lot of the publishing of the content yourself, because no one knows that better than their customer. You know what you need, you know what you want inside of your intranets. Then the last step, of course, is to launch the portal. Start to communicate, start to put this out to your customers, to your users, and get started with the process here. So you have the intranet, you will put the crisis management on top of that, and then you have something that can help you to communicate to all of your users in the time of crisis, where every one of us is right now. And the biggest problem here is a lot of companies that didn't have a plan, they didn't have an idea of what shall we do in the moment of crisis. Some companies was really prepared, and they already had the intranet, they already have had the crisis plan and all these kind of things. But then it was all the rest of the companies that was fumbling a little bit. Some of them are starting to make really amazing work right now, but still there's a need to have this crisis management portal. There's a need to have, for later on, the easy way to just build a new one in case a new crisis will occur. Because even if we have COVID-19 right now, we don't know what will happen in 6 months or 12 months or in 2 years. So that's why we need to build the system right now, so that we just, when something will happen, we already have all the systems in place, so we can just build the crisis management portal again if we need to have that, with dedicated content and information for the crisis which we are in the middle of, and that will happen one day. Hopefully it will not happen anytime soon, but we still need to plan for the worst. Why do we have insurances for our cars, for instance? Why do we have a travel insurance? Why do we have an insurance on our house? We of course have that because we are planning that if something will happen, we want to be sure that everything is okay. So we need to do exactly the same thing for the intranet and our internal data systems. So we need to have exactly the same plan. What type of things do we need to put in a crisis portal? What information do we need to share with the employees when that will happen? How shall we share it? And all of these things we need to put in place inside of the crisis management portal. When it comes to Valo, this is how a typically project delivery could look like. So you can see here that you have the workshop in the beginning, we really believe in having workshops. So because when you should have rapid deliveries, you need to sit together with the customer and then to get a plan, like how should the front page look like, which web part do we want to have there. You need to plan like what color shall we use and how the navigation should look like. So all these things will be delivered in a workshop. Afterwards, we'll just go back home with the partner will go back home with us, and then they will just package everything and it will be installed with our solutions for that, which means that you can start to test, you can start to play with it, have fun with it, and then collect some valuable feedback for us or our partners so they can come and make a small adjustments, and then you are ready to go. And all this can be delivered within 1 week in a timeline. So if you are looking for help from a partner, if you want to have more information, you can find all of the partners that we have in Valo Intranet. You can find on valointranet.com/partners. Then you will be able to filter and finding one that is close to you and where you are based out of. So yeah, I'll just take a small drink of Coke. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm addicted to Coke, so that's just how it is, Coca-Cola. But let's see how it goes. So yeah, but how can we keep our employees engaged? How can we do that? How can we make sure that you have a two-way communication and not typically what happens in a lot of intranets where the content producer is publishing some articles or some news, and then yes, someone is reading them, but you are not giving any feedback back, like you're not giving anything back from just reading them. So how can we make sure that we get this two-way communication so that also people that is creating this content knows that this content is great, or in a time of crisis, we need kind of to know that people receive the information we are trying to give to them. So how can we make sure of this when it comes to an intranet and inside of our companies? Here, of course, there's multiple solutions and multiple options, but as I would like to talk about this is that you should communicate or meet your fellow colleagues inside of Teams or Yammer. This is perfect products and platforms for that from Microsoft. And with Valo, we are always integrating and implementing and improving the products of Microsoft. So when it comes to the intranet, that is typically running on top of SharePoint, so you can leverage a lot of the stuff that Microsoft is doing, and then we are adding our own things on top of that, making it easy and much better looking than how you are used to getting it from Microsoft out of the box. We will have the same approach with Teams and Yammer and these kind of things. So for instance, for Teams, of course, we will integrate and incorporate your intranet within Teams so that your end user don't need to leave that platform where they are familiar to sit and work most of the time these days. Of course, we should store all our files either in Teams or in OneDrive to make sure it is easy accessible for all of our colleagues when you're working. And for Yammer can work really, really well, for instance, when you want to have a crisis response team inside of your company. For that, you can set up a Yammer group where it's super easy then to add people inside of that Yammer group that should be the response team, and everyone else will be able to ask inside of that Yammer group for how they should act and how they should relate to the different challenges that we meet, each and every one of us right now. And the beauty with Yammer is that it can integrate both with Teams and inside of your intranet as well. So here you can see that, of course, all information should be shared on your intranet, and because everyone needs to have one place where they will go, where they will find all the information they need, both when it comes to the crisis management portal and also when it comes to just all other kind of information that they need to have as an employee of any kind of company. A lot of people were saying that, or like was thinking, are the intranets like dead, or what shall we do with the intranet and all these kind of things? The intranet is more important than ever, especially in a moment of crisis. And this is why everyone needs to have an intranet where they can have news, where they can have quick links, where they can have a navigation where it's easy to find the things they're looking for, and even more important, where you can actually have some information messages or alerts that is popping up to the employees all the time, so they will see that something that they need to relate to, they need to go in and check it, and they need to see that this information is important for them to get. And with a mobile app, you can also push these notifications or alerts to the mobile phone to make sure that you also reach those people that might not sit in front of the computer, or maybe they are using the mobile phones more than they use the computer. So you will also reach them by using the information messages or the news for that matter as well. And this is how our Valo Intranet looks like, and one of the UI options we do have, and this one is called Lux. So here you can see how your intranet might look like, and so on. We'll go more into that later on, but this is what we could really build and deploy within 1 week inside of your organization. But even more importantly is that we need to integrate that intranet inside of Microsoft Teams, because just as I told a little bit before, is that each and every one of us is now sitting and doing our productivity work inside of Teams. We're sitting and talking with our colleagues. We are sitting and having our meetings and all these things inside of Microsoft Teams. So Teams is the platform where we are sitting and doing most of our work. Why should we then go out of Teams and into another system to find our intranet or the important news that I need to see, or the important messages and the alerts and the notification that I have? Why can't this just be integrated into one perfect solution within Microsoft Teams? And this is exactly what we have been doing in Valo, to build that solution inside of Teams where you will sit. We're also pushing our crisis management portal. As you can see here, this is our COVID-19. This is our crisis management portal inside of Teams, so that it will be available there all the time. And you can also dock it into the left navigation for every one of your users to make sure that they will see it, which is what we really need to think about. And here you can also see how we can really nicely integrate Yammer with all of this inside of Teams and inside of your intranet and the crisis management portal. We can also do that two-way communication with our crisis management team that is sitting and replying to us by using Yammer. It's just works really well, and everything is in one uniform application inside of Microsoft Teams to make it so much easier for us to find the information we need, to push out information to our employees that they need to read and see, and to give everyone that one place to find everything. So to make your intranet the heart of your crisis management solution inside of Microsoft Teams. So one of the things that you also should do if you're using Microsoft Teams is, and if it doesn't use Microsoft Teams, you can do this also within Yammer. You can actually choose if this should be in Yammer or Teams, but if you are anyway sitting in Teams, it's more logical to put it there than to have two different applications. You need to always go and check for information. So you should set up some fun and informative channels, because typically when we are now distance when it comes to not being able to come and meet at the workplace, it's really easy to become socially distant to our colleagues and socially distant to anyone else for that matter, you know. So we are really isolated and working from home. We don't see too many other people. Maybe we don't see any other people at all, besides when we go out and we need to go to the shop to buy some products, or maybe we even get the products delivered to our front door. So that's why it's really important to have these fun and informative channels, like for instance maybe a break room or a hobby channel for that matter inside of Teams, to make sure that the small talk that we typically would have done at a coffee machine, or the small talk we will have done during lunch, we have another place for that. And we need to replicate and mimic those things that we was doing in person-to-person meetings, or when we was meeting people together. We need to mimic that inside of the virtual solution that we have in our hands. And yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone can relate to this image over here, where someone is sitting and having their meeting dressed up with nice looking clothes, and didn't dress up with all the clothes they needed, because anyone just see you from bottom up. So so that's and having kids running around and making their life a little bit difficult, so while trying to work desperately. So it's really funny image. It's also possible when you do your Microsoft Teams meetings to, for instance, put a Snapchat camera instead of the default camera, to allow to put on the same kind of filters that you are used to use when you're using Snapchat on your mobile. This makes the team sessions a lot more fun, a lot more informal. So of course you need to think when to do that. You can't do that with any meeting. If you have a meeting with your executives or with a potential new customer, don't do that. But if you have like a more informal weekly meeting or maybe a virtual coffee or something like this, then it will be really cool to have a little bit of fun while you have that. So check it out. It's really easy to set up, and you just need to download the product, like the small file to install, and then you can just need to switch the camera that you want to use and allow Snapchat camera to take over, and then just have fun with it. And as mentioned before, we need to find those places and mimic those places where we can sit and do our work. So and have those kind of social hours, or the interaction that we will have when we were sitting and typically meeting inside of the company. So set up, for instance, maybe a virtual coffee room or something like this, so you can have like a 10-minute break and have a chat then with your colleagues and talk about everything besides the work, just to make sure that everyone is happy and having not too much struggling when it comes to the social distancing that we have, everyone of us now. It's also possible, just released a couple of days ago, to add custom backgrounds into your Microsoft Teams meetings. So why not do that? And you can even corporate brand it. So if you should have customer meetings, you can put like a branded background. That way you have your corporate logos and everything. Pay attention that you might need to flip the image if you do that, so that everyone can be able to read the text without putting a mirror in front of it. But that's also something worth checking out if you want to make your meetings a little bit more over fun, so to say. One thing that I have been seeing myself using much more and more is to actually use emojis inside of Microsoft Teams channel names. And this makes it so much more bright inside of Teams. So you can see here that I have these things, and we also have created a crisis management template, so that you can really easily inside of Teams or with our Valo Teamwork, you can go and order a new crisis management portal. Because just as I said before, yes, we have the COVID-19 right now, but what if it will be some kind of other crisis? What if it will be an earthquake, or it will be like a flood, or it will be like something else, and we still need to somehow handle with that crisis? It's so much better to have a solution for that. So you have the template where you will have some different channels where you can share information, where you will have some different tasks that you always need to complete. You can even be followed by some instructions and some documents and some guidance. And all this is possible to really easily create with our Valo Teamwork product that I will show you in just a few minutes as well, how that works. But before we do that, I just wanted to talk a little bit also about secure health and well-being for your remote workforce, because this is one of the things that I truly worry about these days, because you are always only at home and you're only seeing your walls at home, and you might see your wife or your husband or your kids and these kind of things, but you're still a lot more isolated than you are used to being. So we need, and then you are can probably think like, or resonate with the fact that, oh, I'm waking up in the morning and I'm like, oh, what for should I even go out of the bed today, or why should I go and take the shower? I'm just home anyway, so who cares if I'm smelling a little bit, or these kind of things. And this is what you should not do for sure. You should just imagine that, yes, today I'm waking up, I should go to work, I need to go to take the shower, I need to go and make my breakfast, I need to have my cup of coffee that I always had, and then you should try to mimic your workday as much as you possibly can. So for instance, instead of going on the commute to your work, if your current situation, like for instance now with the COVID-19, if it allows for you to go out and take a walk whenever you want during the day, then do that in the morning instead of how you should have traveled to your workplace. And then, of course, in the afternoon, you can do the same when you should have gone home from work, for instance. But I do know that some countries now, they have so much boundaries, so it's not allowed to go out to whenever you want. You have just like maybe 1 hour time slot during the day when you go out, but then make sure that you still use that and try to mimic that as going to a customer or something like that. So you're kind of getting into the mindset in your head that I'm actually going to work, compared to just being home and not thinking in the same way of work, because that will make you much less productive. It will give you much more grief and sorrow than if you could try to focus and think that, yes, I'm still going to my work. So yeah, you should also set goals for every day. If you haven't tried the Pomodoro technique already, you should do that. There's also a few links, so you can also Google those, like Tomato Timer, Focus Booster, or Pomodoro, which is also like an Outlook add-in, so you can set it up inside of Outlook as well. And I'm pretty sure there's someone that works also within Teams, or it will come some there really soon. So that means that you will just have focused work session, let's say 25 minutes where you're focusing on work, then put do not disturb as well inside of your Teams as part of your status, so that no one can disturb you. Then you really focus hard on your work, and afterwards, when those 25 minutes is gone, you should do a 5-minute break. For that 5 minutes, you can of course mimic the virtual coffee with some of your colleagues if you have that virtual coffee room, so anyone can go and join that whenever they want, because that will be making you much more productive. One thing that I see as more and more important is that we also should take care of our ergonomics when you're working from home, because typically at work we had professionals coming in to make sure that we are sitting properly, that we have a good enough chair for us, and that the desk is in the right height for us. But right now no one is checking this. So right now I'm really worried that in like 1 month from now, or 2 months from now, or 3 months, or whatever, how much time you're going to sit working from home, a lot of us is going to get issues with back pain or neck pain, or maybe some problems with the arms, because we are sitting totally different than what we are used to and what is really recommended for us from the ergonomical perspective. So do make sure that you have a good working environment, and try not to sit too often just in your bed or in your sofa. Try to have like a dedicated working area if you have the space for it, because that will again also help you quite so much when it comes to first of all prevent having issues with your body, and secondly, that the fact that you will be much more productive as well. Last but not least is that we need to remember to stay in touch with your colleagues, because if you don't stay in touch with our colleagues, we will be distanced from them as well. We are so used to having the chat with our colleagues at the coffee table or with the coffee machine, or we are gonna go with lunch when you're sitting down for lunch, or going out for lunch, or going out for taking some fresh air and these kind of things. We always is talking and having the small talks with our colleagues. With social distancing and remote working, we are losing that. So we need to make sure that we will be able to do that when it comes to making sure that our work-life balance will still be good. And here is where we can and use Microsoft Teams for that. So we should set up some fun and informative channels inside of Microsoft Teams. One could be the break and the chat room. Another one could be a lunch hour, for instance, or we can do like an online yoga even. There's so much options here. So make sure that you have created some of those inside of your company, and you should have one that is just called fun or something like this, or nonsense, or small talk, or bullshit talk, or whatever you want to name it, where people can just come and talk. They can use GIFs, they can use emojis, they can just be themselves and not think about how they should typically write and behave inside of the different channels and chats that you have. Because here again, we want that two-way communication. We want that our employees should also talk together with each other, and we want our employees to also come and give feedback back to our company to make sure that everything is great. So here you will also find the link to this. It will also be shared inside of the chat, so you can really easily find those tips for yourself through our blog post around the same topics. As mentioned, and as a small summary, we should be really watching out for remote socializing. So we should really try to make that happen in all of our companies and all our organizations to make sure we get that two-way communication. As I mentioned, Yammer is a great place for this if you want to integrate it as well inside of your intranet, because here you can, for instance, for the crisis management, we could set up a crisis management group, as I mentioned, inside of Yammer, and then people can go in there and talk. We can also, inside of Teams, set up all these kind of informal channels to make sure that we reach the people and allow for that two-way communication as well. And I will also show you a couple of other things now, just before we will go into more of the details here. So here I'm over in my environment, and here you can also see that now we are inside of Microsoft Teams. This is our crisis management site. I will show you more details of that later, but you can see here, for instance, I can go also and I can go and reply to this one. This looks really good, or like take care, be careful, probably better in relation to what was written there. So you can see that we can go and get that two-way communication going really great inside of our crisis management portal inside of Microsoft Teams. We also need to go, of course, and look at the different channels and these things that we have here. And that's why, for instance, when we have, as I mentioned, we created that crisis management template that can be really used to create a new crisis management portal if and when we need that. And within here, we can have different channels where we can have these conversations. But for instance, I had created one called Fun Stuff. So also inside of the Fun Stuff, we have one thing inside of Teams that is also really great, and that is called praise. So you can go and praise someone and say that, yes, you did a great job. This is typically like clapping a person on the back or saying the same when you meet in person, but we are missing that way to communicate when we are not together. So that's why we need, again, to find other ways to do that. And one of them will really be to use Teams and praises inside of Teams to do so, just as an option for this. So we can just do here, we can write Jack, or let's see, Kate, maybe I'm more lucky with Kate, yeah. And we can add great work supporting all the stuff, like this, and we can send that one. And now Kate will be notified that she got a praise from Peter, and other people can of course come in and like and reply and all these kind of things. So here you also see that we have this two-way communication, because when I reply here, great job, we have that two-way communication, because now Kate can also go in and reply to whatever Peter said, and we can also show it with emojis and likes and these kind of things over here. As you see inside of my Teams, I have put it my emojis, and this just makes it much more visible and much more pretty, just to be so totally honest. But if I wanted to make another one now, I would just add channel first. And first I would just call it, let's say, leadership for this case. And I will just click add. And here I'm not adding any emojis, because still in the background of Teams, we shouldn't forget that there's a SharePoint site running. So because of that, it can be some issues if I add a lot of different things here in the name. So, but afterwards I can go and edit this one, and then I can go in and adding my emojis over here. So let's do Santa Claus for now, like this. So we can do that, and now it's there, it's pretty and everything. The cool thing now is, of course, that if I will have gone to my Teamwork site, you see that here we have the crisis communication site coming in. So here I could now come and order a new crisis management portal if and when another crisis will occur. And here you will see that when it comes, we can put all this privacy public, and here we can set what is the defaults behind the scenes. And we can also add site members and site visitors, and put even in some metadata here if we want to do so. Behind this is a really cool option, because we have an admin site in the background here. So we can create, or we can add new templates, and this things here. So for instance, here you see that I have my crisis communication side and also have a crisis management side. So I have this over here. I can go and edit this template. We can put image and these kind of things in here as well. But the cool thing is if I want to create a new one, I can just go here, create a new one based on maybe one of the existing ones. So if you wanted to have another template than one of the ones I have, I could just take one of my Microsoft Teams sites. I can click here and then we can use the channels and the tabs and everything from Teams. The difference that we do with Valo Teamwork is that we actually make all this ready to go, so you don't need to configure them afterwards compared to how Microsoft do this with their template engine. So here everything will be ready to go and ready to use from the get-go when you click the new order and the order has been approved and the site has been created. So it's a totally different ballpark than what you get out of the box from Microsoft when it comes to this. Also, if we go back to Teams, here, so let's see, it was behind here, yeah. So here also don't forget that you can mention people. So for instance, I can mention Kate to get Kate's attention. I can also go here and mention a channel, so I can mention all people in the leadership. But here only people from the leadership that is following this channel will actually get those notifications. But here you need also to figure out how much we should notify and so on. But this is really the great way to get like that two-way communication, that we can use Teams and the channels and the chat. We also have like a chat over here that is for one-on-one chat, or it's one-to-many chats. So for instance, here we have two people in. I can go also and edit the name here if I want, so it makes more sense. And it's really easy to add and share files, and we can also collaborate on those files with 2, 3, 4 people sitting and writing on the same files at the same time when it's office file from Microsoft. So this is how we should work and how we should make sure that we have that two-way communication. But I still really think that one of the really good and great things that we should look at is that we need to have everything within Microsoft Teams, and everything should integrate with Microsoft Teams. So here you see also our teamwork running within Microsoft Teams, and we can go here and order the same site as I just showed you from outside in SharePoint. We can do everything from within Teams, so our employees doesn't need to leave Teams at all. Everything is available and easy to use from within our familiar phase that we have here. We can also go and figure out, like, go directly to partial SharePoint, Teams, or OneDrive right from our menu over here, and we can have a list of so much more teams inside of Microsoft Teams than you can do with the teams that you see from over here. It's a much better overview of each and every one. You can search, you can filter, and also we are working now on highlighting some of the teams that is more important, so they will be pinned on the top, so it will be even easier to access them for everyone. So that is like some small help and ideas on how you can do that two-way communication inside of your company. Another thing that is important to look at, and I will try to see if I can show that from within here, because here you see our Valo Intranet and how that looks. We also have from here, from our mega menu, which is totally security trimmable, you also can have the call to action item over here. So this is one of the things that is unique for Valo Intranet and you don't get from Microsoft, is that you have that possibility to highlight a place in your navigation and really get your employees' attention. And you can also go here and you see the information messages here and the alerts. They are really something that each and everyone will pay attention to and see that, yes, here there's something I need to read or something I need to pay attention to. And it's even more important is that, yes, we have our crisis communication site over here, but we can also, with our really nice looking web page, we can lift up, as you could see, the information from that crisis communication portal into our intranet portal, which is again really, really important, because then we can highlight it. We can again reach more people with the same type of news. So let's jump back for a couple of slides, and then I will go and show you a little bit more from the crisis management afterwards. What you should pay attention to when it comes to intranet, and to make sure that the intranet is the place to go in time of a crisis, and make sure that that's the heart of your crisis management portal. You should use alerts, just as I showed you that how we are using alerts on top of our UI. You should also take a look at your analytics. And when it comes to Valo, we are giving a lot of analytics from our intranet. So with the analytics, you will get that a little bit two-way communication as well, because you can go and see who actually read that post. You can go and see who read that news item, and you will get insight into what is working for your employees when you do that. Also, even more importantly now than ever before, is that you should be able to target the news and the content in your intranet to make sure that the right content comes to the right people. And with Valo Intranet, we can do that. With all of our web parts, we can put in different type of filters to show what the information about from news, for instance, that is just relevant to the right people, so they will see information that is just relevant for them. We also need to provide useful articles, and I will show you 2-3 that we provided inside of the crisis management portal in a few minutes. And it's also important to have that common break time channel, as I mentioned, inside of Teams, so that you have one place where you can go and want to have a break from work. You can find your colleagues that is also in there at the same time. You need to make sure that your staff and employees are healthy and in a good place. And that's why we shared with you some of the steps that you need to do to be able to do that. We also think that it's really important to have a place for quick links and to provide rewards and recognition for your employees, because we are missing those rewards and recognition when we are just working from home. And last but not least, it's also really important to keep your policies up to date, so everybody knows and find important information and what is the correct and the right policies right now for my company, because maybe in a crisis those will change. So that is really important. And we also need to know that it's impossible to find the information that we need at the time of that we need it. And that's why with Valo, we have really spent a lot of time making sure that we have a really great search functionality inside of our product. So with that, I will just want to show you even more from our features. And I also want to show you really quick how our mobile app works before we'll go to the questions. So yes, let's go to demo mode again. So I hope everyone will still be able to see my screen. So I'm jumping back here. So as you see, this is how we are leveraging quick links in Valo. And here you can, of course, go and add whatever images you want and whatever links you want. But this is just one place where you find all of those really, really easily. It's also important to be able to find your colleagues in the point of crisis. And that's why we have the possibility to search really easily here for Kate, for our common employees inside the company. And we can just click the image, and then we can start to chat with Kate inside of Microsoft Teams. So again, we have that two-way channeling here. So, and we have the integration between the different systems. When it comes to news, of course, we allow for comments and likes, so that we can get some feedback from our employees if those news and stuff is working or not. And we also, as I want to show, let me just show you that from our crisis communication side, is that here you see our Yammer integration. So you can see, we can like and comment, as I mentioned, from Yammer. We can also use another type of quick links coming in here that is coming from Microsoft. So here you can just go and see the different links with a small description. We also have a possibility with our people web part to showcase people that is part of the response team, for instance, inside of the crisis management. So here we have 3 people that is part of our response team, and we also could have used the out-of-the-box functionality from Microsoft for the same. But you can see how we are improving and making this more pretty by how the different web parts is looking. Also, it's really important to showcase type of important events that each and every one need to attend. Maybe some kind of training. Maybe it's a training to how you should make sure that you don't get infected by the COVID, these kind of things. And that's why we have events roll-up coming in here from our crisis management solution. As part of the crisis management solution, we also have here the frequently asked questions, which I think is a really good module to have there, because here you can create this yourself with type of questions that you get asked all the time, and then you can add the answer as well, so everyone else can just go and find this in one default location. We have a quick poll over here, so that it's possible to go and I'll just refresh the screen, so you can actually ask your employees those questions like, how are you when it comes to social distancing and all of these kind of things, and then we can set up, of course, that the poll is by default anonymous, or we can have it open. So that is also a possibility that we can do here, and of course we can see the result afterwards. It's always great to interact with external resources here, so that's why we have the RSS feed from Valo that is lifting up information here from the World Health Organization, or we can even use the Twitter web part that we have to lift up information from different type of Twitter accounts as well. And on the end, we have even integrated with the Bing map for the COVID-19 tracker in this particular case. So these are some of the features that is coming inside of our crisis management portal. That is a template that is ready to go. So if you are a new customer of Valo, you need to first of all get the intranet installed, and then we can put this template on the top. If you are an existing partner, and if you have the Valo Intranet running inside of SharePoint Online and inside of modern SharePoint, then you can really easily deploy this template inside of your intranet. And if you need help with that, reach out to us, reach out to your local partner, and then they can help you to deploy this into your environment. And as you can see, we have some pre-ready application or like pages here as well. So here is like, for instance, symptoms and what you need to look out for, with some also a nice infographic that is available also from us as part of the package. And also over here we have the prevention, how you can prevent, with again the nice infographics. All this is pre-packaged from us. It's part of the package that is just to deploy inside of your environments within a week with the full intranet. If it should only have the crisis management, of course, it's a lot less than a week to deploy that. So now I'll just show you really quickly the mobile, and then I will jump back to the last few slides, and then we will open up the floor for some questions. So let's hope that this works. I tested it before, but you never know. Always this thing when you are running things, it might not work. So okay, looks like it doesn't work now, so let's just quit it. Now I'll start it again. So bear with me for that. So let's try again. It came for a few seconds and it disappeared again. Yeah, now let's see, here it is. So now you can see my screen, hopefully. So here, if I will search for Valo, you will see that we have our digital workplace app. So this is where you will be able to reach all of your employees with the news and the alerts inside of your organization. So this one, you see that we have the same news coming that I just showed you from our crisis management side is coming here. And here we can really tailor and filter the news that you want to lift up inside of your digital workplace mobile app. We can browse down to all of the news that is here. We can of course click into one of them. I will not do that right now, but on the top we can also see that we have a filter, so we can also do that. We also have here the information messages coming in. So this is where and these are pushed to the mobile so that we get notified that they are coming there. So this is where you can really reach your employees with ease and with Valo and our digital workplace app. On the bottom, you will also see that we do have what is called the People Finder, which is exactly giving us the same capabilities that we had inside of the browser and inside of Teams. So for instance, here I can search for Jack. And as you can see now, I find Jack, so I can go in and click on him, and I get all the information. I can email him, I can phone him, I can add him to my contacts if I want, and I can even go and chat with him on Teams. And here you see that I can open up the chat immediately with Jack. And that's how we are integrating the system with Valo. We are taking the best from Microsoft and enhancing them with Valo, making it easy and ready to go for you, our customers. We can also go here and navigate the full intranet, as you can see, and we can even have custom apps coming in here. So we can even bring polls or custom apps inside of your mobile experience as well. So that was just a really quick few minutes on how you can really push and get into your employees with having a really nice looking mobile app for this purpose. And in a port of crisis, to make the intranet the heart of your crisis management, to use something like this type of app is what everyone should actually be using. So let me stop that mirroring and let's get back to our templates, and we'll open up for a few questions also in just a few minutes. So yeah, I also showed you briefly the Teams and the Teams template before. So here we have a ready-to-go template that is also available to use, and you can order it through our Teamwork, as I just showed you, and that also really integrates inside of Microsoft Teams. Also, as an enhancement of our Teamwork, is so that here we had all our teams. We also want, as I mentioned, we're looking into this, so this is a mock-up right now, so it might change, but we are looking into giving you the capability to pin the most important ones on the top, even push your alert messages in here, just to make everything inside of that nice dashboard and integrated version for you, so you'll get all the relevant information in one place in type of a crisis. That is really, really important. Here's another mock-up, as you can see here, with also the alerts on the top. I just showed you the communication inside of the digital workplace app, and how to get started with this template thing is, of course, at Microsoft, yes, they also have their crisis management side. But as I showed you, we have a huge number of different features and different things that Microsoft doesn't have. For instance, you can't do that call to action inside a mega menu. You don't have the important messages. You don't have the same nice looking web parts to lift up things. Yes, you have possibility to build something that looks like this, but we can make it look even better, and it's even more packaged. It's ready to go. You can just deploy it and start to use it, which makes it a lot easier, and you can get started with something really, really quick. And time is of the essence right now. And even more importantly is that you can go inside of Teams and get everything. So for instance, as I just wanted to show you briefly that again. So inside of Teams, we have our teamwork and the things here, we can order the new groups. But also as part of here, you will see that we have Valo with our teams here. We have our important news coming in here with important news and the events that I have. I can also go and have the specific crisis management site here, lifting up and showing us all the information we need within Microsoft Teams. And we also have the search capabilities here. So here you can search for documents, or you could have searched for crisis relevant documents, because here we could just have filter the filters to your customized needs. And we can also find our colleagues within Teams here. So we are unifying all that experience and making one solution for you inside of our intranet to bring you that crisis management as part of your intranet and as the heart of your intranet. So if you are interested to learn more, you should always reach out to us. We have some infographics here. The password for that is Valo Love, and I'm pretty sure Hannah, that is my moderator, has put this inside of the chat. If not, I can put it there as well. With that being said, let's open up for questions. Do we have any questions, Hannah?
At the moment, I think we don't have any yet. Please leave them into the Q&A or the chat and we will reply them. We will be here for a few minutes.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to book a demo with us as well. So we are here for you. We have a huge set of partners that is just waiting to help you all over the world. So feel free to connect with us. And yeah, if you have any questions now, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will be really happy to reply to them. So it seems like we don't have no questions. That is great. Then I will just share my last slide, because it's always important to go off with a nice thank you note. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you learned something. I hope you got some valuable insights to how you can put the crisis management as the heart of your intranet, and how it's possible to have a two-way communication channel in a point of crisis, and how we with Valo Intranet is in having a lot of different features in our products, and a lot of different products that can help you when it comes to how your company is dealing with the crisis. So my name is Knut, and it has been a pleasure to be here with you today. And I wish everybody to stay safe, enjoy your life as much as you can, and of course keep washing your hands, and keep taking care of your loved ones. And I hope we all can meet in person at some point in time in the future as well. So with love from me to you, and wish everyone a great day. Thank you so much for joining.